Hey everyone, my name is Fedor Holz, and I'm one of the most successful poker players of the new era. I don't know, maybe some of you know me. I didn't see how many hands went up. Can I see again who's playing poker or did play at some point? Okay, that's a couple of people. So I want to give you a little insight and share my life story on how I got to that point because it's not the most conventional life story, and probably a lot of you are asking yourself, okay, how do you even get into that? How do you end up being someone that plays cards for a living and travels around the world? So I think my background, and that's why I want to talk a little about my youth as well, because I think that to get into that, you need to be a specific or grow up in a specific way. And so my youth, my mother got me with 17, and she had to quit her school, and I would say I had a very nice and a very tough childhood at the same time. So I grew up with my mother got two little sisters. She had to quit her school because of me, and it was all very it was very, I grew up very loved, but also with a lot of challenges. And I was interested in a lot of things. I had passion for a lot of things, but money, for example, was never like something that drove me, or that, okay, I want to do that because I can financially profit off me, because it was never an issue in my family in terms of, okay, this is why you do it. And my mother taught me that a lot as well. So then fast forward, I get two sisters, and things get a little more tricky. And especially in the beginning, it was for me that I was excited by a lot of things, but also expectations were really high in my family and with everyone around me. So I tried a lot of things, and I was good at things, but then the learning curve somehow, yeah, it went slower, and I somehow lost the passion for something. So and then the expectations were so high that I could never really make the people around me satisfied with what I did. And that really set the base for what's going to happen later in my life. So especially at that time, I've been bullied a lot in school as well because I was the small kid. And I think it was, so I skipped the class, and it was that a lot of people around me, I was just excited by things, and I was just trying to, or I was interested in a lot of things, sharing my thoughts and so on, and I didn't understand at that time what impact it had on other people, that it maybe made them feel bad, and I wasn't reflected in that way. So later on, what my result was at that time was that I just kept things for myself. I wasn't excited to the outside anymore. I was just excited for things about myself, and that kind of slowed down things. So really, my teenage years, I was really not interested in anything, not motivated for anything. I didn't go to school. I went way beyond the hours you're allowed to miss in school, and somehow they let me through. And then with 17, I finished school, and at that point, and I think that's something I haven't shared that officially with a lot of people, and I think that's really important for the background story of who I am as a person as well, is I was really at a super low point. I moved out of my parents' house or my mother's place, and I started studying, but there was nothing really that captured my attention, nothing that I was really passionate about. And so I started studying informatics because it was the thing to do, because my uncle studied it, and there was this expectation, this pressure in my family of, okay, just get something done, get a job, and just live your life in a solid way. And so I started studying, and I also set myself that goal of, okay, I wanna get at least something done. And it was such a pain for me. I went to university, and every single day was me forcing myself to do something where I didn't really know why I did it, and I think that kept me away from actually excelling at it. And so at that time, that's now the transition to why I'm here, is at that time I started playing poker with friends. And it was this home game that probably a lot of you have played. How a lot of people get in touch with it is you just play with friends, and you play for fun, and you put cards on the table, and you play for €1, €2. And at that point, it was more me competing with friends that are also really interested in it. And so that was a time where two of my friends always beat me. They were older than me, and they were quite good at the game. They already played. They made significant money at that time. So we were students out of college or out of high school, and so they made 1,000, 2,000 euros a month. And I looked at them, and at that time, you're the king with that amount of money. You can buy whatever you want. You can do trips and so on. And that really challenged me in a way of, okay, I want to compete with them, but in a way together. So because you're not constantly playing against each other, but you're also competing in that whole area, and you try to improve together with a group. And why this was so important to me is I believe this was the key basis of why I became successful in poker, is building this network of people where you can share experience with them and really exchange the essence of what you learn. So if I spend time somewhere and I learn or I experience something for 20 hours, then I put that into the most important ideas and things, and then I share it with them. And I believe that I was good at the game, but I wasn't excellent at the game. I wouldn't say I'm the best at card games. I just think that putting myself in that position where you have a lot of people around you that think in the same way and share it, where you can be honest. I think honesty and trust is the key for that. And that also have that passion and motivation for something. And that's where my career started. So my first year was terrible. I was living alone, basically, in a small room. I maybe had 300, 400 euros a month to live off, and wasn't successful in poker, but I was driven by that passion. I was driven by me just having that goal of, okay, I want to do this because I enjoy doing it, and not because I want to make money with it or because someone else thought I should do it. Actually, everyone thought I was crazy, not finishing or stopping university and following this, playing a card game or gambling, trying to gamble for a living. And then I stuck to it even through the first year that went terribly, and I set myself really strict goals. And I think that's also one of the main takeaways for me is that I set goals that are really hard to achieve, and then every single day I work towards that goal. So it doesn't matter what outcome, whether that day went good or bad, it just matters to me that I come closer to that goal or not. And that at that time, in retrospect as well, I changed my mindset from being results-oriented, or I started from being results-oriented and looking, okay, did I win or did I lose, to actually looking at how did I perform? Did I do well that day? Did I do enough to get closer to my overall goal? And then I started to grow that network and put more time into it. And in 2013, I felt, okay, my surrounding, everyone around me was still telling me, okay, this is nonsense. And so I changed my surrounding. And this was the third thing that was huge for me, is how much energy you have to put into something that doesn't lead towards your goal. So I always had to tell everyone, no, I know what I'm doing, or at least it feels good to me. And so I lost so much energy there. And then I was, okay, I have to change my surroundings. So I quit everything. I quit my apartment. I left everything behind. And then you also realize who are the true friends and who are not. And I went on a world trip. And there I realized a lot of things, especially that at the core, I did it for the right reasons. I did it because I was super passionate about it. And that gave me even more confidence into, okay, I have to follow this, and I just have to go all in it. And then I moved to Vienna, and I started playing there and put all my time into it. And I had a great surrounding around me. I built a great network around me of people that are like-minded and that also want to put the time into it. And it worked out really well. 2014, I basically had nothing, and I made my first million in that year. And in the year after, that was also a year where I learned a lot of things, because then you've been successful at something, and it's an area that is kind of like the Wild West. So you're your own entrepreneur, and you're not building a company with people that work for you. It's just everything is on you. If you do a mistake, then it was you. Or if something doesn't go well, then it was you. And that's why I love poker as a learning experience for an entrepreneur or general, because there are so many similarities in terms of making decisions. So every single day I had to make thousands of decisions and a lot of investment decisions as well. So is that a good investment by itself? And really, again, just thinking about the process rather than the result of it. And yeah, so after that, 2016 was my most successful year ever. I won $16 million in that year, and it's been an amazing time. But I think the most interesting experience for me and that I want to share is the feeling that came with it compared to what my expectations were. So you set these goals of, okay, you want to be the most successful poker player, and then you reach it, and then it hits you that there wasn't much fulfillment for me in there, because you think you reach that point and then basically everything stops and you're just happy for the rest of your life. But that wasn't how it was at all. It was actually very frustrating, because I put so much expectation into it that that's how it's going to be when you're financially set and when you reach that point of being respected. But at that point I realized it's all about that time I put into it and the journey behind it, that all the people I met, all the places I traveled to, and all the things I learned on the journey. So that, again, was proof for me that the result doesn't matter and that it's just about what you learn on the way. And so after that, after I was really contemplating my life, okay, what do I want to do next? I could stay in poker how everyone expects me to stay in poker, and yeah, just keep on playing and become more successful or known at it. But then I realized that fame or the financial status is not the big part. And then it goes back to my history. It was the passion. It was the learning curve, all the things I learned every day, and sharing that passion with other people. And that was the moment where I stopped from one day to another after winning a big tournament, and I haven't played poker for the next month. And then after that, now I'm just playing casually for fun. And so, yeah, that's my big takeaway from there. And now I feel great. I founded a company we're about 1 year old now, and we're trying to build an infrastructure where we can go from an idea to a company as fast as we can. So somewhat like an incubator. And our first company is called Prime Mind. We developed a mindset coaching app together with the coach that I worked for the last 2 years that helped me achieve all these goals in poker. And I'd love if you guys check it out, because I think it helped me a lot. It might help you. It's for free. And yeah, I mean, I'd love if you guys join us on our journey, because there's going to be a lot to come.